Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so invite prospects to attend some sort of event. So one-on-one, two-on-one, a three-way Zoom call. Yeah, and I mean, perfect. Now we've got Zoom that we can do this in the flesh or on Zoom. Online training, which like Sunday evening, Zoe does a big team online training. A local blaze. So a blaze is like a get-together of various people, and there are lots of them dotted around. So Helen, I don't know whether Helen's still running one, but on a Monday evening in Stamford, there's one. We used to do it at the Crown. So whether that's still happening or not, I don't know, because I didn't have any consultants in Stamford. You're my first consultant in Stamford, believe it or not, Sarah. All my consultants are elsewhere. So yeah, I mean, there is something, people get together on a Monday night in the Crown. Then there's larger events, so region training, which is on a first Monday of the month. And as I said, actually, for those, so for Rachel, I don't know whether I have mentioned to you and Sue that we used to do what was called area training. So Zoe ran an area training in the Cozy Club at Stamford in the Mess on a Saturday morning, and we're going to start that up again. So we've got a bit of momentum coming over our way, as opposed to everything happening in Melton. So we'll start that in May, so the 9th of May. Hi Giselle, how are you?
Isn't that when we're doing our rat race, Candy?
No. No, it's not, is it?
Sure it is.
No, I double checked the date, that the rat race was later. It was the 20-something, I thought. Oh, you're panicking me now. Can you find out?
I'll Google it now on tap.
Yeah, well, anyway, we will be starting something in May. Okay, so, well, I'm trying to get out of the rat race. That's obviously why.
It's for charity. You'll do, 9th of May. Yeah, it is the 9th of May.
Okay.
Oh, you can do it quickly and just then go to the training.
Yeah.
It'll only take you 5 minutes to do the rat race.
Oh, it'll be so easy. I can do it twice.
Easy.
All right, well, Helen will be running that one then. Okay. Right, so before making the invitation, there are some rules. So emotionally detach yourself from the outcome. And as I was discussing this with people on Saturday, that's quite hard when, you've asked your best mate to join you in a business and you really, really want them to do it. But we do and in fact, it's probably best not to ask your best mate for a while. But yeah, just to try and just think, well, I'm just going through a business transaction here. It's not, don't get yourself emotionally involved in it, because it can, if they then decide that it's not for them, and this isn't for everyone, it can set you back. It can really kind of make you think, oh God, am I doing the right thing? But you absolutely are doing the right thing. And the thing is, your friends come round eventually anyway, once they see what's happening and how you've changed from being part of this. They start to go, what is she on? Yeah, maybe what she's talking about is good.
Kelly was saying that today, wasn't she, Jen?
Sorry?
Sorry? Kelly said people are now starting to ask her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. It doesn't take long, does it?
Yeah, so and then the next thing is be yourself. So just focus on being your best self. So don't try and be Zoe or Danny or some MVP. Just be yourself. Because the thing is, some people can join and they can get very, very passionate about it, and then their mates will think they've joined some sort of cult because they've gone a bit like crazy, and they're talking about parabens and they're going on about this and you should do this and you should do that, and actually, so we just got to kind of just be yourself, just be relaxed, and bring some passion, but just be normal, and have a strong posture. Right, so and then basically the invite is 8 steps. So you'd think it'd be quite simple just to ask somebody to watch a video, but actually there's quite a lot of psychological messages going on here. So if it's somebody in the flesh, so this is all from Eric Worre's book, GoPro, and he says to be in a hurry. So, and Don talks about it in Own Your Life. He says that if you're meeting with someone for a meal or a coffee and you want to talk about what you're doing, and try not to, just leave it till the end of the conversation, and then you say, you know, be in a hurry, just say, oh, sorry, I just remembered, you know, I've just started this business, it might be something you're interested in, and then go from there, rather than sort of turning up to have a coffee with somebody and that's your agenda, that you're going to talk to them about your business. Just drop it into conversation at the end. And he talks about complimenting the prospect. So, and then once I've gone through this, then every step is broken down and there's lots of scripts for every step. So compliment the prospect and then make the invitation. And then he talks about a sentence that he says has been his kind of winning sentence, really, is, if I lent you a book, would you read it? If I sent you a video, would you watch it? So that's the first point when your prospect's going to say, yes, I'll watch it, or yes, I'll read it, or whatever. And then the next section is get a time commitment. So without sort of saying, you know, what time do you think you want to watch this? I mean, you can do it in a very subtle way. So if I sent you a video, would you watch it? They say yes, and then you say, when do you think you will have watched it by? And then they say, well, if it's a weekend, I'll have watched it by Monday, and then you confirm that again with them. So you say then, okay, so well, if you think you'll have watched it by Monday, can I get back to you on Monday about it? So you're getting them to say yes 3, if not 4 times. And actually, if you get that commitment, the difference in conversion of somebody actually then going on to read your book or watch your video is 80% compared to 5% if you just send it out there and then it's just gone, you know. Then you might be able to get back to somebody in a couple of weeks and say, oh, did you watch my video or did you read my book? But the thing about this is once you've sent the video, once you've given them the book, is to kind of just keep the what we call exposures. So a video is an exposure, a book is an exposure, going along to a meeting is an exposure. Try and keep it all in a tight formation, so there's not weeks and weeks and weeks in between each thing. So then you've got a time commitment from them and a number if you're going to ring them, and also you're going to need an email if you're going to be sending videos. And then he talks about getting off the phone. Well, we're either leaving the building or, you know, getting off our text message or whatever. I mean, a lot of what we do is on Facebook, text messaging and what have you. And then it goes into each step in a lot of detail. So step 1, be in a hurry. And then there's scripts in here for the warm market, so friends and family, and also the cold market, so someone you might bump into and that you think, oh, well, actually, I think this person would be great for my business, and I'd like to sort of give them the opportunity of hearing about it. I'll give you an example. Gary and I went to Cambridge a couple of weeks ago, and we were in a restaurant at lunchtime, and this lovely Spanish girl, actually, she just, you know, could not do enough for us, and I just thought, well, she's a really lovely person, I'd like to, you know, talk to her about it. And actually I went to the loo, and by the time I came back, Gary had got her email address, so he'd spoken to her. But that was great, and she was, and I then sent her an email to say, thank you for serving us, you know, you did a great job, etc., etc. If I sent you some sent you some videos, would you watch them? So she came back to me and said, yes, I'd watched them. Now and then I returned the email and said, right, with the videos already on it, and saying, okay, well, hopefully you can watch them over the weekend, and if I don't hear from you by Wednesday, I'll contact you. So that was my first hurdle, basically. So got it wrong, didn't get a time commit from her. What I did was I told her when I thought that she might have watched them by. So consequently, I only got 1 yes from her that she'd watched the videos, and I haven't heard anything. So there you go. That was my 5% as opposed to my 80% by getting, you know, her to commit sort of 3 times to it. Yeah, so there's scripts here. So I don't have much time to talk, but it was really important I caught you. I've got a million things going on, but I'm glad I caught you. So just, I mean, some of these are quite Americanized because it's Eric Worre's an American chap, so they're his scripts, and obviously we'll have our own ways of saying, our own British ways of saying things. So, and then there's for the cold market. So, for instance, this girl, I could have said, now isn't the time to get into this, but I have to go. But I've got a business that you might be interested in. Can I send you some videos? So, it's just easy ways of talking to people. And then step 2, complimenting the prospect. So, we're all really nice people, and I'm sure we'll be able to compliment people without too much trouble. But again, there's a whole list there of like, you've been really successful, and I've always respected the way you've done business. Just different ways of kind of building people up, and it's nice to be complimented before somebody asks you to do something. So there's a whole load again for the warm market and for the cold market there. And then step 3 is making the invitation. And there's 3 different ways of making an invitation. So you can make that invitation directly. So you're talking to somebody and you want them to be in your business, and so you're directing it straight at them. So when you're talking about the opportunity or products to them specifically. And then there's an indirect way of asking somebody. So you ask them for their help. So their help and advice. So you might say, well, I've started a new business, and I could really use somebody to practice on. Would you mind if I practiced on you? And that's a way of exposing your friend to the business without them thinking that you want them in, kind of thing. So it's really nice, actually, indirect way. So I'll give you an example of that as well. I sent out the videos to a friend of mine, Marie, who had been along to one of my launches first time around, like you did, Sarah. And I said to her in the message, Marie, I know this isn't for you, but if you wouldn't, because you're in a young lady, so she's in a circle with people with lots of little kids. So she might know someone who would like some extra money, who doesn't, maybe doesn't work, wants to do something else. And she said, yeah, sure, I'll watch them with a view to handing them on. And then I didn't hear anything. I didn't get the time commitment of when she was going to watch them. So naughty me again. But then a week or so later, she came back to me and said, sorry, she hadn't been back to me. Her son had chicken pox and they'd been away, etc., but she'd watched the videos, and actually it was a no-brainer, and she was interested for herself. So that was really great to be able to send it to her in that indirect way, and then her come back say, well, yeah, actually, I think I'd like to do it. And then super indirect might be someone that, I gave her, for instance, on Saturday, perhaps the CEO of Boots or something, or someone that you'd feel a bit scared about approaching about it. And he calls that super indirect. So ask them if they know someone else who would be interested. So you'd say, I know this business isn't for you, but do you know anybody that would be interested in earning some more money, a bit of time freedom, etc. So and then there's a whole load of scripts for warm market and cold market on all of those as well. So I'll give you an example. So for the warm market, direct approach. So when you're talking to somebody directly about it, when you told me that you hated your job, for instance, were you serious? Were you just joking? Wait for an answer. Great. I think I found a way for you to solve your problem and make that happen. This is for situations where an area of their dissatisfaction. Or another one is, I think I found a way for us to really boost our cash flow. I found something you really need to see it. I'm launching a new business and I really want you to take a look at it. When I thought of people who could make an absolute fortune in this business, I thought of you. So quite a lot of them are quite Americanized. So we just have to sort of reword it for ourselves. And actually, we have got a Facebook group that we were putting. So when we sent out invitations to people to look at our business, we were putting those conversations actually onto the script. So I will find that again and post something on it so it comes up to the top, and I'll add you to it as well, Sarah. And Giselle, she can't speak. I don't know whether Giselle's on our Facebook page. Is she, Jen?
If she's not, I'll add her.
No, okay.
I'll make sure.
Do you want to add her then, and then I can add her to the...
Yes, I am. Can you done?
You are?
Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
No, she was.
Okay. So, and again, there's a whole load of scripts for the cold market for that as well. And then there's indirect scripts. So, so I've just started a new business. I'm really nervous. Before I get going, I need to practice on someone friendly. Would you mind if I practiced on you? So, you know, I'm sure friends and family would be quite happy for you to sort of, you know, do that. Or, oh, I've got a video that explains this business that I've just started. Would you mind watching it? You know, it's so easy, and people are very, very amenable. No one's going to say to you, no way, I'm not watching your video. And then there's the cold market as well for indirect. I found this, what's he say? Oh, he says, I found this approach doesn't work very well because it doesn't really make sense for you to show this much respect for someone you've just met. Oh, right, okay. Direct and super indirect work best for the cold market, right? So super indirect approaches are incredibly powerful and play on a number of psychological levels. This is a networking approach that asks the prospect if they know someone else that might benefit from your business. I use this approach all the time with great success. So for the warm market, the business I'm in clearly isn't for you, but I wanted to ask, who do you know that is ambitious, money motivated, and would be excited about the idea of adding another income stream to their lives? Who do you know that might be looking for a great business they could run from home? Who do you know who has hit a wall with their business and might be looking for a way to diversify their income? Do you know any switched on? Well, that's not. I think that's a Zoe typo there. Do you know anyone involved in a serious job search? So, you know, there's all sorts of ways of talking to people. And again, for the cold market for super indirect, cold market is exactly the same as the warm market for super indirect. Just use the scripts above or any variation that's comfortable for you. Okay, so that's making the invite. Then it goes on to step 4, which is the if I was you. So you're not going to offer your third-party tool. So your third-party tool is your book, your video, your CD, or whatever. You're not going to offer your third-party tool unless they agree to do something in return. This has been my secret weapon for a long time. So let me offer you some examples. If I sent you a video that explains all the information in a very professional way, would you watch it? If I gave you a CD that described the business, would you listen to it? If I gave you a book, would you read it? And so on and so forth. Okay, so then we move on to step 5, get the time commitment. When do you think you could watch the video? When do you think you could listen to the CD, etc., etc.? So that so don't suggest. This is exactly what I did. Don't suggest a time for them. Ask the question, and have them give you the time. If it's not a definitive, I'll try to do it sometime. Then tell them, I don't want to waste your time or mine. Why don't we just try and lock in a time, and you'll have seen it for sure. Well, you know, when you first start that, you probably won't feel confident enough to say that, but you know, it's easy enough to say to someone, when do you think you'll have watched it? The key is to get them to say yes a second time. So, well, like I said, you know, they've said that yes, they'll watch the video, and then they've said yes that they will commit to a time to watching it. So saying yes to step 4 is not a commitment, and then he goes on to step 6. So confirm. So if they tell you they'll watch the video by Tuesday night, your response should be, so if I called you Wednesday morning, you'll have seen it for sure. And if they say they'll listen to the CD by Thursday morning, your response should be, so if I called you sometime on Thursday, you'll have listened to it, etc., etc. So, and then step 7 is get the time and the number. What's the best number and time to call you, or you know, email them back, or etc., etc. Now they've said yes 4 times, and the chances they'll follow through has been increased from less than 10% to over 80%. So please put, and then note, please put this appointment in place so you won't forget. So the fortune, or you'll hear Sarah a lot about the fortune is in the follow-up. So basically you've got to do what you said you're going to do. So if you said you're going to call somebody on Wednesday at 6 o'clock, then you have to do that, because it's like any business. We're just being professional about it. And then step 8 is get off the phone, or obviously you finish your email or whatever. Remember, you're in a hurry. The best thing is to say something like, "Great, we'll talk then. Got to go." And then there's various examples that have all been, so all the 8 steps have all been put together. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different examples of this. So I'll read through a few. So example 1, a person you know hates their job using the direct approach. "Hi, I don't have time to talk, but I'm really glad I caught you. You're one of the most successful people I know. I've always admired your achievements." So that's the compliment bit. "When you told me you really didn't like your job, were you serious? Great, I think I found a way to create an exit strategy whilst maintaining your current position." 4, I have a video that you have to watch. It describes what I'm talking about better than I can. If I send you the video, would you watch it? It's 30 minutes long. And as I was saying on Saturday, that actually you have to set the expectation for people that if you're sending them a video, that they know how long it's going to be, that it's not, if it's going to be 30 minutes, tell them it's going to be 30 minutes. So that they don't sit down thinking, "Oh, I'm going to watch a couple of minute video and oh my goodness, this is going on and on and on," the videos that we've done have been split into 4 sections. So actually they're just small little chunks. So, and what we were saying is actually don't send one and then wait for a reply. Send them all at once, because there's nothing worse than starting to watch something and then you think, "Oh, well actually I'm really interested in this and I'd like to watch the second one," and then you've got to go back to the person that sent it to you. Send them all at once is a better way of doing it. Okay, so it's 30 minutes long. When do you think you could watch it by? Tuesday, ? Is the prospect says. So if I call you Wednesday morning, you'll have watched it. So step 7, all right, I'll call you then. What's the best time and number to call you? Great, speak then, got to go. So actually the conversation is small, but there's a lot of steps that have gone into it, and you've gone through the psychological thing of getting them to commit several times that they will watch it or they will read it, or etc. etc. So does that all make sense? Yeah. So I think when you're constructing, I think it's good to just keep reading over, well, obviously to keep going through this Growth Accelerator manual, and especially because number 1 is making a list of all your prospects. So this is the first skill that you've actually got to kind of think about, other than, "Oh, I'll put down Auntie Flo on my list," So it's it's really worth sort of getting all those steps in. And the thing is, when I started, I did all sorts of things wrong, or well, not wrong, but I missed out bits, etc. But your confidence grows the more you do it. And then also in the book, in the manual, there's 2 gaps to have a go. So there's step 1 to 8. So you could put in a prospect's name, so somebody that you wanted to speak to, decide which way you were going to approach them, whether it's going to be direct, indirect, or super indirect. And then you could go, pick the bits in the scripts and stick them on there, and then just talk to your husband about it, or say, "How does this sound?" or whatever. And actually, if you're ever sending out a message to somebody and you want it checked, then you just send it to the person, like send it to me. So if you want to send something to someone, Sarah or Rachel, or Sue or whatever, I mean, Sue often sends me things. Sam's sent me stuff to, and I think, yeah, that's good. And I've sent things to Zoe, and she sort of says, "Oh yeah, well that's great, but just take that bit out and put this bit in," and then send it off. So just get it checked. No one's going to be concerned about you doing that. We want success for everybody, so everybody's here to help. So Okay, so what I suggest homework is to come up with some scripts of your own for, direct, indirect, super indirect, and send them to me if you want, and I'll have a look at them and see what I think, and top and tail it for you, and you can send it out with one of these new videos that we're doing. So yeah, Sarah, have you watched the 4 videos on the pinned post?
Not yet, no.
Okay, well we've had so there's a few things that we've got to change with regard to wording, because
I saw the message today. So.
yeah, so they're not available at the moment, but Zoe has done another one which I started watching just now, so we'll just, before we send anything to anybody, we'll just make sure that, I think Arbon are checking it, check that we've got the wording and everything right, because we left the kind of Arbon system to one side when we swapped to this Don Valia way of doing things, so we just got to make sure that we're PC, saying everything correctly. So, okay, is that all right with everybody?
Yeah.
2 minutes 9 seconds left. So any questions? How's it coming on with the website? Ooh. Silence. the website, the new website. Everybody getting on all right with it?
Giselle can't get any of her training up, which I think's odd.
What, on the university?
University, yeah. I went to have a look at it yesterday with her. I can't figure it out myself.
Okay.
Oh, look, there's our mum.
And Rachel, have you managed to get on? No, you've ordered something, haven't you? So you're all right with it.
Yeah.
Have you uploaded a photo or anything yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I've ordered. Do you know the delay, or whether we get an email?
No, there isn't a delay now. It's all going through fine. So I ordered day before yesterday, and it's coming tomorrow.
Did you get an email?
Yeah. That is one thing to double check though, and I sent a message out to the team, is that do make sure, if you put an order through, make sure you've got an email, because one of my consultants had put something through, and then I went on a little while later, and I just thought, well, it shows you all the orders now, so your own orders and everybody else's orders, and hers wasn't on there. So I sent her a message saying, have you got an email? And she said no, she hadn't got an email, and obviously it hadn't gone through, so
Right, I'll check.
have to double check that.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got less than a minute. Any more questions? Oh, and there is an opportunity Zoom on after this on Zoe's number.
Oh, cool.
Anybody know Zoe's number off the top of their head?
445.
Right, so 445. Sorry, say again.
458 965 7014. Is it a normal?
445.